The oil-rich Gulf states spent their money all around the world. They would invest in all sorts of things that you wouldn't even expect. I mean, we know that, of course, the Saudis bought our wheat board when Stephen Harper sold it. But it's just like they are the big investors. In fact, they are where you go when you're looking for investment in a big project. That was back when they had money. Of course, their economies have been shut down because of the war in Iran and the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. And the Strait of Hormuz is not opening, not anytime soon. I said when this started that this was going to be closed for months and months and months, and I said the soonest would be July, and I think that's probably unrealistic. I think it's probably well beyond that before we see it opening, which means their economies, the Gulf state economies, have been basically shut down. And the damage is going to last for years, even after trade is reestablished. I mean, it's not going to be a situation of people wanting to run back to live in those locations and be the backbone of their economies, and they're not going to be in a position to spend. And of course, they've lost trust in the United States, understandably so, because the U.S. invited them in, saying that they were going to protect them, and they've obviously failed to do that. And in fact, they're the ones who triggered the whole thing. So, thinking about the economies of those states, they are need cash flow. I mean, they maybe have deep pockets, but they still need cash flow, and cash flow is shut down, and cash flow is going to be shut down for a long time. And then after that, there's going to be harsh effects for their economies for a long time to come. It's not going to restore itself to the situation that it was before. People who are desperate to go work there end up going and working there one way or another, but still, like, it will take time to rebuild. And then, of course, facilities that have been damaged will take time to rebuild. And of course, on top of that, those people who are the customers are not necessarily just going to come flying back, because they will have found new places to get energy, new places to source out a lot of things. So that shakeup is going to damage their economies for decades to come. Now, what will that do to the global economy? Well, it's going to kick the shit out of the global economy, and this will again be something that lasts for decades to come. The U.S. is going to suffer from it because they are already on the ropes, because Trump has done so much damage to them with the tariffs. And yes, oil companies always manage to do okay in the long run, but the consequent effect of the fuel price increase that is going to be lasting, and increased price to fertilizer, which is going to hurt food production, which is going to hurt food supplies, which is going to lead to people going hungry, and all of us trying to figure out how to survive, and restaurants failing, and so forth, is going to have long-lasting, traumatizing effects. And I have to say, like, so far in Canada, we have done remarkably well. You can credit Mark Carney for that, and nobody else. He's been running around and getting international investment in Canada. And other economies too are likely to benefit from the things that he's done. Obviously, he's looking for win-win situations with other countries that are like-minded and recognize that trade is good. So Canada is open, trade is good. We're a reliable supplier, and many countries out there are reliable manufacturers, suppliers, and we're going to continue to do trade with them. So we have been largely protected, but there's limits to what they can do, especially when you think of the devastating effect of the Arab states, the oil-producing states, and their incapacity or lack of capacity to invest. It's going to be harsh, and we're going to be suffering this for a long time to come. The Strait of Hormuz is going to be closed, I would think, at least 6 months. The Iranians are slow negotiators. It took years to negotiate the agreement that they had with Obama, which, of course, kept Iran from having nuclear weapons. But they do things very deliberately, and they do things on principle. You may not agree with the principles they apply, but they do things on principle, and they will make their decisions as they see fit. They are a country of 92 million people who, despite the fact that their economy is doing poorly, so there's not any social movement. People aren't feeling that they're getting better in life or that they have more opportunities in life, but they are capable of feeding the country and capable of continuing to exist in a war state for a long time. So they can afford to take their time when they're negotiating. Trump thinks everything is a deal, and over the course of his lifetime, he's been able to generally ignore the law because he could rely on it to protect him, and he, for the most part, has been able to ignore any legal consequences for his actions. But now the law doesn't apply, and you're dealing with a country that's got plenty of power and support and capacity to fight back. And he can't, go running to court and sue somebody in this circumstance, or defend a suit with his creepy behavior that he does in court. So he's now dealing with a foe, someone on the other side, who is unlike anything that he has ever dealt with in the course of his career as a B-grade real estate developer who doesn't pay his suppliers. This is a very different situation, and he's dealing with somebody who's got the capacity to damage the United States for a long time to come. And he opened this can of worms at the direction of Israel, and the global economy is going to pay, but the Americans are going to finally feel this. And I don't think Americans realize that their lifestyle has been buoyed by a couple of things. Number one, debt spending. The world has been willing to lend money to them. And number two, we send our money to the U.S. Like, Canadians have been buying U.S. products for forever, thinking that U.S. were our friends and we had a strong trade agreement with them, and this was a win-win situation for both sides. So we should support American companies and buy their products, use their credit cards and buy their software, you name it. And all that money went back to the States and filled people's 401ks and made Americans feel wealthy. Well, the world's turning from that. The French government is looking for different software. The government of the Netherlands as well. We are looking for alternatives to Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. All of those things will hinder the wealth of Americans generally. And Americans have believed in the trickle-down system, where a bunch of people get wealthy and they supposedly spend money, and it gets out into their economy and ultimately maybe lifts all boats. But of course, we all know that that's a fiction, but it does to some extent keep their society affluent generally, and they've had a wealthy middle class. Well, they can say goodbye to that wealthy middle class because everybody's going to look for every alternative to American products for as long as possible. And so that arrogant assumption that Americans have had, that they are entitled to get our money. I'm in the liquor industry, and I look at all of these American companies, and now they're shipping their product to Montreal to get it bottled because they think that they are entitled to our money. They think that they are entitled to have us spend money that goes back to the States that makes their billionaires billionaires. That attitude's changed. So talk about a shakeup. Every time Mark Carney mentions that this is a shakeup, that this is a complete change in the structure, the world order, the way that we have had our economy organized, he's not downplaying it. He's telling us the words, but we need to understand just how significant it is and how far-reaching this will be. And it's unfortunate that we're all going through this, but with change comes opportunity, and constraint forces us to be creative. We in Canada have a very well-educated population. We should be looking for wherever there's opportunities, and we should be pushing away those American companies because this attitude has been revealed, and we see what it's all about. They're not working for our interest at all. So let's work for Canada's interest and the benefit of countries that are like-minded.